Hello, friends. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. My name is Robin, and I'm with Robin's Egg Blue Creations, and I'm also an independent designer with Couture. Don't mind my dogs. We're all alone here by ourselves, so every little peep they hear, they bark, so my apologies. Once you hop on, say hi in the comments. Tell me where you are watching from. I'm glad that you're able to either join me live this evening, which there would be a little red box right up there. If you happen to be watching later, I'm glad that you are able to join the replay. I do want to let you know I am live in 3 places this evening. So I'm, live on my business page. I'm live on my YouTube channel, and I'm also live in my private Facebook group. I tell you that just so that if you hear me refer to a comment that you don't see in your feed, that person may be watching and viewing from a different platform. Also, if you're viewing from my private group, if you wouldn't mind giving StreamYard access to your profile name and pic by clicking the permission link at the bottom of the description of the video. That allows your comment to be pinned with your name. Otherwise, you show up as Facebook user in my comments, and then I won't know who to say hi to. Speaking of saying hi, I see that Jason is watching from work, and I see that, I hope I'm saying it right, Venetia from Ellsworth, correct? I welcome this evening. Let me know if that isn't pronounced correctly, and I will fix that. But also, if you wouldn't mind spreading the chalk love out to Facebook and YouTube, that helps me grow my business. Tag any of your crafty friends and invite them to come watch. I would greatly appreciate it. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera. I'm also going to pop in a little mitt so that you don't have to hear me cough. And I will show you what we are working on. So I have a couple of 14-inch rounds that I have faux stained with watered down acrylic paint. I have those. I have, sadly, this is from last year, but I never got a chance to use it. So I want to use it again. I used the Gather and Gobble once, but I didn't get to use the rest. And I have some specific projects in mind, so my apologies, you aren't able to get this transfer. I don't do that very often, but in this case, I wanted to use this one. This is a silkscreen sticky back reusable transfer. They are reusable about 8 to 12 times, depending on how well you take care of them. And because I want to return the transfers to this backer sheet when I'm finished cleaning so that I can store them away, I've already written right there, but I just want to write here, hello pumpkin. And then write gratitude here. Write gobble down here. And then this one is fall is in the air. I do that so that when I'm done cleaning it and I'm ready to put it back on the transfer or on the carrier sheet, I know that it goes on this side, not this side. I also am going to be mixing in some Mylar stencils from Essential Stencil. And these are the stencil. I'm a part of the Stencil of the Month Club. So every month you get a set of 3 12 by 16 stencils. And they look a lot like these. So there's all sorts of different sayings, like pumpkin spice and Jesus Christ is one of my favorite ones. Autumn leaves, fall breeze, meet me at the pumpkin patch, and all at once summer collapsed into fall. Here's a round fall image. All sorts of fun little sayings. Every year I fall for pumpkins, bonfires, s'mores, and autumn leaves. Right there. It's that image right there. And then every month you have the option of getting an add-on stencil. And this is the add-on stencil for the month. So it's a great repeating background stencil. So this is the one we're going to be using this evening. Jason says those pumpkins are adorable. Norm, I don't know if you're referring to this or this package, but Normally your stencils of the month come in a blue envelope, but this month they came in this fun pumpkin inspired envelope. So that was kind of fun to receive. So I'm just going to put this one back in. I'm going to put these to the side for right now because I want to do a little bit of additional painting. I'll probably only do one on camera. Just trying to decide which side I want to use. This side. We'll put this one away for later. So the stencil, yeah, the stencils are cute. That one, I like it because it not only has pumpkins, but it has sunflowers and it has some other foliage in it. It's really pretty. And it does repeat so that this image matches up with this image on this side. So you can repeat it across your surface. Okay, so you need to help me decide whether we want to do Hello Pumpkin or Fall is in the Air. And then you also need to help me decide whether I paint with the rust color, this yellow ochre color, or this Prussian blue color. You can't tell, it looks black, but it's really a dark navy blue. And then we'll use this one later. So I think if you choose Hello Pumpkin, rust would be a good color. Fall is in the Air would work with all three of the colors. So just kind of keep that in mind. So while you're choosing, I'm going to go ahead and tape off my surface. I had to check on Luna. She's making some weird noises. Venetia says Fall is in the Air. They're about the same. I'm just kind of trying to figure out. Anybody else? Jason, do you have a vote? He may have left. He's actually at work. They're doing inventory, but I think he popped on for a little bit to say hi. So if we do Fall is in the Air, because it has one line only, I can bring my, and I don't normally have this mat down when I go live just because I think it's a little distracting, but when I'm doing rounds like this, it's good to have the lines to kind of help me with my tape. So Venetia wins. She said Fall is in the Air, so that should give me also need to make room for my bow. I might bring it down just a skosh, just so I have room for bowage, the fluffy bow. Let's see. I think that'll work perfect. Okay, so let's keep that one to the side. Now we get to do we want to do, what color do you want me to paint with? Rust, navy, or yellow ochre? And I'll have to get a color tray and a paintbrush. I have, if it makes it any easier, Venetia says rust or yellow. I can do that. Let's just paint with the rust. That way, and I'll show you how easy it is to paint with the chalk paste. So you can use this just like acrylic paint. You just need to water it down a little tiny bit. The cool thing about using this to paint with is, one, you already have it on hand. You don't have to go buy any special colors. Two, it dries super quick. I'd rather have too much than not enough because I can always put it back in the jar when I'm finished. So I'm just adding a little bit of distilled water so that I can add it back into my jar. And I'm just going to mix that around until it's about the consistency of an acrylic paint. You could technically paint with it out of the jar, but I like it a little thinner than how it comes in the jar if I'm painting with it. Okay, so let's see how far that gets us. So I'm just going to use a standard paintbrush. I'm just going to water down my wood a little bit just to get that paint to glide a little better. I'm going to wisp away from my edges so I hopefully don't get any on the sides. Okay, so I'll probably have to do 2 coats. How's everyone's week been? We're finally, hopefully, done with the summer weather here in central Kansas. It was cooler yesterday. I'm hoping was our last 100 day. It was in the 80s today. It's still humid as all get out, though. Venetia says she's been crazy busy. It's been a little busy. I'm trying to get ready for the reason I chose a retired transfer is I'm just trying to make some fall door hangers for an event at Rolling Hills that I have on the 1st. And of course, I'm late to the ball game. That dang full-time job gets in the way. Okay, so I'm going to dry it really quick just because I've kind of made a mess of it. You'll know your paint or paste is dry when it's no longer cool to the touch. I'm going to go in with my second coat because that's been sitting a little bit. Give it a good spritz. Try to make some long strokes so that I even everything out and I don't have a lot of brush strokes. Anybody else have a dang full-time job that gets in the way of creating? I enjoy my job. It just gets in the way of my creative time. Venetia's asking, will I be able to wash this off and reuse the base? I won't on this because it's wood. I mean, I could sand it all off, but because wood is porous, it just kind of absorbs everything. And even if I tried to wash it off, it would stain. But like on chalkboards, most metal and glass, I can wipe off the design and redesign on it. But this is kind of a wood, fabrics, anything porous, is kind of a one-time use surface unless you sand it down. Okay, let's see what we've got going on. Give this another dry. You do childcare in your home? I didn't know that. My background is actually in early childhood education. I worked in childcare centers till about 2005. And then I kind of retired from that when my son went to kindergarten because he had a pretty rough transition to kindergarten. One of the perks of working at the child care center was that I could take him to work with me. So he was at work with me every day. Had been to work with me every day since he was 6 weeks old. So when he went to kindergarten, that was a rough transition. Neither one of us did well. Oh, sorry. Shut my door. The boys are home. The dogs are barking. So what ages do you do, Venetia? I think that looks pretty good. So there's the color that we have. There's a few little spots in there where I could probably go over it again, but because I'm putting another pattern on top of that, I'm not going to worry about it. Newborn to age 5. My favorite years. Toddlers were always my favorite. And then preschool. Babies scare me. I didn't even know how to read my own kiddos' cries. But I'll take infants over school-age kiddos any day. I always said I liked toddlers because I could teach them what to say instead of telling them all day long what they couldn't say. Okay, so I think we're done with that. Good color choice. Keep that out. I think I will leave my mat out. So I'm going to pull my tape away. And I'll just set it to the side because I can reuse the other straight edge for another surface. Okay, so the next thing, you have a sick one this week, but usually have 5 or 6 kiddos. That's a pretty good group. Kudos to all the family child care providers because I only worked ever in centers, and there's no way I could do that on my own. Oy. So kudos to you guys. Okay, because this is, actually I don't need to wax this part. never mind. Because I'm not using a sticky back transfer down here, I do not need to wax. So I'm going to put that to the side. Okay, so now let's get out our I don't know whether to do this stencil first or the Couture stencil first. Let's do this one. Venetia says they keep you hopping. Never a dull moment, I'm sure. Okay, so let's stash that. Oh, I should have left my tape out. Just so I don't go over. Pulled it off too soon. Okay, so we'll turn it over because I did not wreck that side. Nope. I'm just going to get a new piece. This will keep me from getting that background stencil where I don't want it. Okay. So I'm just kind of lining it up as best as I can. Then I could use one of these rogue pieces here and just put it here. Okay, so not for the design, we're going to use this milky white. It was as close to cream as I could find. This is just a artist quality acrylic paint, so it's a little heavier bodied than a normal craft acrylic is. So I'm going to put a little bit on this cardboard, and a little bit goes quite a ways. And then I'm going to get one of my stencil brushes out. And so I'm just going to load the paint. Probably should have gotten a little more, maybe. Probably way too much, but I'm just going to load the paint into the brush, and then I'm going to offload it onto my paper towel until it's almost dry. That will make sure I don't have so much paint on my paper, on my stencil brush, that it bleeds through and underneath the stencil. I kind of feel like that's totally not even. That looks a little better. Okay, so I'm just going to use a swirling motion. Through my stencil. Love these sunflowers, they're pretty. I don't know if this color is going to show up. I'm going to take a peeky peek. Oh, no, it does show up. Boy, it looks like it's not going to show up, but it does. And some of the little nooks and crannies I like to stipple to make sure that I get all of those little corners and crannies covered. This is a good arm workout too. Good shoulders. So Venetia, how long have you been a child care provider? Okay. Take a little bit. 31 years. Wow. That's dedication. Okay, I'm going to dry this while the stencil is still down. It shouldn't hurt anything. Then I'm going to go back and do a second coat real quick. And then I'll move the stencil and we'll finish out the image. And then I should be able to chalk the sentiment after that. Make sure that I got it put back down. Yep. So I'm just going to swirl again where I've been. Up a little more paint. Oops, I don't think I got enough off. Ooh, my arm is burning. So far, so good. I'm going to dry that again. Yes, this Mylar stencil is washable as well. You can just use some running water and either a paper towel, a rag, or I actually use the Couture board eraser to wash mine. It works great. So now I think I can move on and shift that to the side a little bit. And then this little piece right here that was over here matches up with this edge of the pumpkin that's missing. And then this matches up as well. Kind of. Looks like right there. There's not a whole lot that I have to match. So move that. I'm not going to press very hard there. Oh, I just stuck that in my paint. No worries. Luckily, everything is washable. Okay, so I'm going to fold that over. And we're just going to start where we left off. I don't have any affiliation with Essential Stencil. I'm just a huge fan. They're great. You know, you can get a lot of use out of the Couture transfers, but they do have a limited life. Although I still have never found one yet that I still can't use after more than 10 to 12 uses. They say 8 to 12, but there are lots of designers that have gotten a lot of use out of their transfers. Okay, need to dry that. A little bit more, and I think we'll be done. I am going to peek just to see. Oh yeah, I'm close. I probably should have taken a little bit better notice as to where I started this stencil just to get the most out of the pattern, but I don't know if it's that huge of a deal. Gently pull that one. Ta-da! So I'll set that to the side and I'll wash it later. So there is our background. There we go. Just putting the stencil in a bag until I can, so it doesn't get hard on me until I can clean it. I have a tiny bit of ghosting where the stencil probably moved or I bled just a little bit. So I'm just taking this clickable eraser, dabbing it in a tiny bit of water, and then I can kind of erase. Oops, I kind of also smeared it. I'm actually not going to do that. I forgot I'm on chalk paste. And so when I wet it, but it did get rid of a little bit of that ghosting, but it picked up more of the orange than I was expecting. Okay, so now I think we're ready to pull. And now let's get that up. Now we can use Fall is in the Air. I need to get out I think I'm going to figure out which color is going to look best and match the closest. I think that's pretty close. So we'll use, it's an old color, but we'll use it anyway. Jason says, holy cow, he missed a lot. That looks awesome. He didn't miss a whole lot. It's pretty fast, fairly. Okay, so now I probably should wax up here just because if I put the stencil down, it may pull up some of my wood fibers. The wax also helps kind of fill in any of the little nooks and crannies that may be on the surface of the wood. I probably should just to be safe. I didn't down here because one, the essential stencil is not sticky backed, and two, I wasn't for sure how the acrylic paint would stick to the wax, but I think I probably should up here. And just for an even tone, I'm going to go ahead and wax the whole stained surface up here. So I'm going to flip my wax applicator over and use the microfiber side. Venetia says, sorry, got to get the grands ready for bed. No worries. Hop on and out as you need. Thank you for stopping by. Much appreciated. It's good talking to you. Okay. So now we'll do Fall is in the Air. Put that down and out of the way. Get my fuzz towel out. I have a mess. That's okay. It's a good mess. I'm going to fuzz it just a little bit because it is this portion of the transfer has never been used. And I just want to knock back a little bit of that adhesive so it doesn't stick so hard to my surface that it pulls or distorts. And I also do not want it to pull up any of my wood fibers. Okay, so this is okay, so it's a 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's pretty much the center. So just to help me even this out a little bit, I'm going to fold it and match this edge up with that edge roughly. And then I'm going to pinch it with my left hand right up here at the top. And that gives a little pinch in my transfer. So I can kind of see approximately where the middle is. So I can line that little pinch up with the center mark down here. That's why I have my mat out tonight. That's about the only measuring that I do. And I'm going to burnish it down. I think I have something back there. Now let's try that again. Okay, so let's use this dune. Grab a squeegee. I'm just going to pull it off of the foil. So I'm just have my chalk paste on my squeegee. Excuse me, and I'm just going to gently, this might be a little too yellow, but I think it'll work. I'm just going to pull it down wherever there is silkscreen. And I can put all of this excess back in the jar. And now I'm just going to even out my squeegee lines. Put that excess back in. I probably should have lightened this color a little bit, but I'll blame it on the fact that it's on a different colored surface than the bottom paint. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's peel this off slowly. Actually, I don't mind that it doesn't totally match. Kind of adds a whole nother, just a different fall tone. Let's get that dried. Okay. Let's see if I can get this little thingy in the bobber off. Mostly. Okay, so there's what we have. Fall is in the air. Very pretty. I love it. I can't wait to see what this pattern looks like on the navy, but I will do that one off camera. So I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to push all this stuff up front. I want to show you how super duper easy peasy it is to clean the transfers. And I can probably even show you how easy it is to clean that Mylar stencil. I just need to get some of this stuff out of the way. So I'm going to bring in my water source. In this case, it's just a tub of water. It's kind of how I prefer to do it. Sometimes I use the utility sink, but this is really easy. So I just have it in some water. You can just run it under any water out of the sink, out of your tub, out of your shower. Heck, you could probably even use your garden hose, but that might get a little messy. So I'm just kind of scratching it on the bottom of the, scrubbing it on the bottom of the tub surface just to help get that paste broken up a little bit. I'm just going to wet my board erasers. I'm going to move this towards me a little bit so I can see. So I'm just going to grab it on one end and I'm going to kind of wipe all of that paste off. I usually go in one direction so I don't stretch or crumple up my transfer. I try to go slow. I'm going to flip it around so I can get this other end. And then I'm going to turn it over, and I find this helps a lot because sometimes your paste will get stuck in your screen. So if you do the same thing from the back side, it helps release all of that paste. And then I'm just going to bring it out and lay it on a towel and get out a disinfecting wipe. And I'm just going to wipe off the back side. Kind of helps remove all of that lint that we put on. I think it helps wick away a lot of that moisture. And then to dry it, you can just leave it sticky side up like this for about 10-15 minutes. But if you've been around, you know, I forget that I have them laying around drying. And there's been times that they've been laying out all week. So to avoid that, I just put them right back on their backer sheet while they're slightly damp. And then let them continue to dry that way. I actually think it's easier to place them on the backer sheet when they are slightly damp. Okay, so let's put that somewhere to dry. And let's bring, I forgot, I was going to show you real quick. I probably won't wash it all, but I just want to show you how well the board erasers work. That's not gonna, for them on the Mylar stencils. I'm gonna put that away actually. And let's just, I'm gonna get the board eraser wet again. And you can see that there's paint. And it's just literally wiping all of that paint away. It works fantastic. Such an easy way to clean your stencils. And I've even done it with like weeks dried paint. So you can see the difference. It's already come off. You can even see it on my towel. So board erasers work great. Also great for your Mylar stencils. So even if you have no desire to ever use Couture transfers, if you do happen to use Mylar stencils, I would get some board erasers. And I do have some on hand. Okay, let's move all of this out of the way. I'm going to remove this. I have to give it a good clean later. Okay, now let's just make a bow. I forgot to grab my bow maker. My bow dabber. My bow holder. And now you get to help me pick ribbon. Okay, so I have this pumpkin ribbon. I have that, but I think it's a bit too orange. So let's bring our round back in. I think that'll work. So I have a little bit of the darker orange in the gingham or buffalo plaid will work great. I also have some of both of these colors I think would work. I have this cute little hedgehog with leaves, which might actually look really cute. I don't get to use it very often. And then I didn't know if sunflowers would be too wild of a stretch. It doesn't have the color, but it has the flower. And then of course I always have burlap. I could even maybe add some cheetah, but I don't know. I think most of them will look good. I'm just going to get a ruler out for my benefit mainly. And some scissors. This probably won't work. I'll get some scissors that I know will cut ribbon. Jason says plaid and the hedgehog. This plaid and the hedgehog, well, I'll probably use all sorts of different ribbons. I'll definitely use those 3. What about the sunflowers? That might be kind of a stretch because of the color. What do you tell me? Yes or no, sunflowers? I also have this. It has some leaves in it, which I think that'll look pretty. And then I don't know about this plaid. I like it, but I don't know. We'll just have to see. Jason's thinking no on the sunflowers. It's kind of, I pulled it out just for fun. Oh, shoot. Lost a pin. I have a mess over here. And then I forgot I also have these pumpkins. That might be the top layer. Okay, so let's get started. I think I'm going to start with 10 inches. I'm going to lose that pin, and I'm going to find it in my foot one of these days. You don't like this plaid? Okay. Jason's my design help. I think I'm going to do 3 pieces of these just as my base. I swear I cannot do a quick project to save my life. I just need to give up. Give up trying to make them quick. I won't give up lives. I enjoy the lives. Okay, so there's 1. I'm just pinching them in the middle, really just eyeballing it. And I'm using 3 of this one just because I want it to be a base. This may be a poofy bow. Okay. So then let's add the buffalo plaid. And I just have a ruler down here. Just as kind of a guide. These are not my favorite scissors. Some people really like these. They need a longer tip for me. I have to squeeze too much to get through ribbon, although they cut ribbon really well, but just not my favorite. I'm going to try 2, but we may end up with 3. I'll just have to see. I don't want it humongous, though. Okay. I think we'll do this next. Kind of hoping I could get rid of it. Maybe. Just have a little tiny bit left. That'll just go in my scrap bin. I use one of those over-the-door shoe holders to store all my ribbon scraps by color. Although it's not over the door, it's actually hanging on a wall, but it works great. My little pieces like that, if I need them for small scrap bows, I definitely know I'm going to need to trim that down. Those are too long. I'm just going to cut these down a little bit. As I go up toward the top of the bow, the top layer, I'm going to get shorter. I'm going to make my ribbons shorter. And then I'll trim it when I'm done. But this hedgehog stuff is so cute. I've rarely used it. Okay, and then this last one will be the skinny pumpkin. And I may add 3 pieces of that. And it is not a wired ribbon, so it may not even work, but let's see. I'm going to do another one for fun. Okay. I may need a longer twisty tie or a zip tie. That one may not cut it. I probably won't attach it tonight because I need to punch holes in my round. Ooh, she's a chunky monkey. I'm not going to fully tighten it just because I want to be able to pull some of these around. And I still need to do a lot of trimming, but like I can yank mainly these 3 need to be slightly manipulated. Okay, I think I'm ready to go tight with it. Oh, I just broke a nail. My poor nails have been taking a beating. Okay, I think that's probably as tight as I can get it. Okay, so now we trim. I think for now I'm going to leave the burlap blunt, but everything else I like to trim at an angle. I'm not a big fan personally of the dovetail. It's just a personal preference. If you like it, you do it. But I like to trim everything towards the middle. And as I go, I cut them shorter and shorter. I think it adds a little bit of fullness. And then as I pull it up, I kind of pinch it in the center back here and kind of give it a little fake poof, if you would. And I need to burn this pumpkin ribbon phrase. So if you take a little lighter to it, it'll kind of singe the ends so that they don't fray anymore. Okay, so now let's do this side. Okay. Get down here to the bottom. Jason says he loves the bow. And I really just kind of eyeball and just start giving it a haircut. I try to match both ends, but that doesn't always work. Already that makes a big difference. Get this mess out of the way. Then I can lay it down and assess it. And I'll keep fluffing with it till I get it kind of where it. These need to be a lot shorter. And I probably made them too short. I think I did. Oh well. These seem to be the only ones that are fraying, but you can do the others. Ooh, that's stinky. Okay, so let's think. I'm just going to trim these up a tad. So these are a little long. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, so I'll cut this off. And again, you just kind of keep fluffing with it till you get it to where you kind of want it. And I am going to wrap a little bit of twine around the inside just to hide that zip tie, and then the excess in the back will give me something to tie the bow onto the door round with. So I'm just going to loop it and tie it back here. And then those pieces will be what I tie to the hanger. I may have to take this ribbon out. We'll see. There, that looks pretty good. Just kind of pinch and pleat everything towards the center. Kind of gives it a little bit more fullness. It's going to look like that. It'll either be, it can be in the middle. It depends on how you add your hanger. So that's kind of what it will look like. I'll show it to you a little. Just lay it like right here. So there is the bow. Okey-doke. Well, thanks for hanging out with me this evening. I'm going to skip all of the bookkeeping this stuff for this evening. Thanks for hanging out with me this evening. I hope you enjoyed the project. If you did, give me some thumbs up, give me some hearts, all that fun stuff. And I'm a little iffy on the rest of the week. I'd like to do some extra lives just so that it gives me extra motivation to get some more projects done for my October 1st vendor event. So I may do a live tomorrow night and Friday night. It might just be a top-down video, though, because I'll be looking a little nasty after cleaning the church tomorrow night. So I'll post it on my Facebook page. But again, thanks for watching this evening. Thanks for watching the replay if you watch later. I greatly appreciate your support, and I will see you later. Thanks for watching.